A United Nations agency has estimated that the Asia-Pacific region risks losing $675 billion each year because of natural disasters like drought and floods. The agency also says that it's the poorest communities who are hit the hardest by these disasters, leading to a downward poverty cycle.
The UN Economic and Social Commission for Asia and the Pacific, or ESCAP, in short, gave this analysis in its latest biennial report on disaster risks in the region. It called on governments to factor in these risks when developing social and economic policies. Mei Wong reports.
Thailand has some 40% of its population involved in agriculture sector. So when a slow but widespread natural calamity like drought hits the nation, the community takes a severe beating. This not just leads to low or no agriculture production, but will result in other problems like food shortages and unemployment for the people as well. The report revealed that losses from drought alone in Asia Pacific make up almost 70% of all disaster losses in the entire region.
No mitigation or adaptation policies and strategy are systematically in place. So when this particular disaster hit, then the impact is very devastating. So the key message is basically how to prepare the people, especially the poorest people, because they are mostly the most at risk, And second, also how to put systematically the social protection, for them to better able to cope.
Flooding is another disaster that often causes destruction in Asia Pacific, especially in Southeast Asia. Such natural disasters usually end up affecting the most vulnerable, widening inequality gaps, aggravating poverty. The number of people living in extreme poverty, UN Economic and Social Commission for Asia and the Pacific says, is projected to be 56 million by 2030. But if disaster risks are left unaddressed, this number will more than double to 123 million people. Communities also face other problems when natural disasters strike, like no access to healthcare and education, having their land and possessions wiped out, resulting in greater burden and increased disadvantages on those affected. The report acknowledges that advanced technology and data have helped to reduce the risk of disasters today, such as with early warning systems. With climate change, recent disasters have also shown that they're deviating from the usual patterns, making it more unpredictable and difficult to determine which areas should prepare for the disasters. However, there's also another challenge.
One of the problems is that mobile technology is not yet universally available, and in particular access to broadband internet, which is the data intensive, the content rich application that has yet to reach many of the rural areas, many of the sparsely populated areas, and so that is really where the next big push needs to be. It needs to be in investing in the internet underserved areas of the region, because everything is going to be connected to the internet.
UNESCAP is suggesting governments to partner the private sector to improve internet systems. It also hopes various governments can increase investments in social policy and infrastructure to break the link between disasters and poverty. Now just picture this. The vulnerable citizens are often living in poorly constructed housing in remote locations. So when a disaster like a flood or an earthquake happens, their houses are the first to collapse. UNESCAP says governments should help to reduce this impact by improving on housing designs and retrofitting in order to minimize the impact from such disasters. And also, this will enable the citizens to bounce back and recover more quickly after. The Commission is also encouraging governments to be more efficient when investing in key areas in order to mitigate disaster impact. Governments need to strengthen their resilience in anticipation of natural disasters. It will help ensure the country's economic development and progress will not be completely wiped out. Mei Wong, CNA, Bangkok.